Welcome, everyone. We'll wait a few moments as everyone is filtering in. Thank you so much for joining us today for our final session of nature drawing. We'll just give folks a moment or two to enter the space and then we'll get started. Welcome, everyone. If you're just joining us, we're just giving a moment for everyone to get into the space and then we'll get started. Welcome, everyone. Oh, Bridget, we're so sad that this is the last session, too. We feel that. Welcome, everyone. Hello. My name is Kat Redness. I'm so thrilled to be here with all of you. I am the public programs educator at Shelburne Museum, and I'll be your facilitator today. And then I am here with my phenomenal colleague and also just a phenomenal human, Sarah Wolfson. Hi, Sarah. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, I'm the school and youth programs educator here at Shelburne Museum. And I have a background in, I was a school art teacher before I landed here. So I'm here to help you all with your drawing skills.
Wonderful, everyone. And we're also joined by our buddy Isa, who's in the background helping us with the back end of this technically. But we're so thrilled to be here with you. This is our final session. This will be recorded. And so if you want to revisit it, you can do that. That will be up on the website in hopefully by the end of the week, or if not, at the beginning of next week. And this is session 4. If you've joined us for the first few sessions, you know that we've explored landscape and animals and birds and flowers. And today we are going to be bringing it all together. So we are going to bring everything that we've learned together. We're going to do some close looking, which we've started with every time. We're then going to do 2 warm-ups. We're going to do a continuous line drawing warm-up and a speed shape drawing warm-up. Sarah's then going to take us into the world of perspective, atmospheric and linear, and we'll have a demo and some practice there. We're then going to give you 3 larger chunks of practice. We're going to do landscape practice. We're then going to do an animal in a landscape, and then we'll also close with a final floral drawing as well. We'll go over some key takeaways. We'll do question and answer at the end, or just any thoughts that you have, anything you want to share. Um, in this, please use the Q&A. So there's a Q&A on the bottom of your screen. That's where you can communicate with us. So please let us know if you have any questions. There'll be times where we'll ask you for your input. That's where you can put that. So let's get started. First, we're going to do close looking. We're going to put up 2 different pieces if you haven't done this with us before. And we're going to ask you what you look, what you see, what you notice, what you're wondering about this. Really thinking about the aspects of nature in it as we're applying it to nature drawing. So this could be what you notice about shading, what you notice about the composition of the piece, the choices that the artist made, all of those things. And you can put that right in the Q&A. So the first piece we're going to start with is Birch Trees Over Pine by Luigi Lucioni. So what I'd love for you to do is in the Q&A, take a moment and look at this picture, look at this painting, and tell me what you see, what you observe, what are you noticing? I really thought it was a photo, so we're looking at a more realistic. Yeah, there's shadows, gorgeous, gorgeous shadows, line texture. You really feel like you're there. The trees make an M, so we're noticing the shapes. Very realistic. You don't see the forest for the trees, right? We don't know Is this just a little grove of trees? Are we in the middle? Shiny bark overlapping, the peeling bark. That's one thing I always notice. Intriguing photorealism, shading and depth. There's a lot of depth. We have perspective both in the close, we have foreground, and then we also have distance, vertical and horizontal lines, that dappling of sunlight. The peeled bark, I love that. If you look at the bottom of the tree in the foreground, we have that really kind of bare area where the flesh of the tree is really raw. Yes. Perspective linear with the tree's light and shadow, heavy wavy shapes repeating, depth, shadows, negative space. That's something we've talked about a lot is that negative space. Three-dimensional. The trees really stand out. Steeple in his paintings. Yes, shadows. Mossy grass is squishy and it would feel good on bare feet. I love that, that evocative emotion and what you imagine being in there. The power, feeling of power. The birch has a lot of power. The church steeple in the background. Yeah, this has a lot of stuff going on in the background that if you look, there's a good amount there. Stumps and textures. Yes, you want to be there. Beautiful. The light hitting the trees, placement of sticks and stones, so many triangles. Thank you so much for all that thoughtful response. I'm going to go to our next piece. And this is called Down Montgomery Way. And this is by Shevitz. And so I want you to look at this. This is another landscape, but a slightly different one. What are some of the observations we're making here about the choices made by the artist? What we see. The stippling. Yes, we've got lots of stippling here. What else are we noticing? Leading lines, the rule of thirds. Yes. So we're seeing the rule of thirds. This is actually a wood engraving. Somebody said, looks like wood. Yeah, we're definitely seeing the distance. It does. Somebody said it reminds you of Mary Azarian. I have that same thought. Mary Azarian is an amazing illustrator, children's book illustrator and artist. Shades of gray. The clouds are made entirely of horizontal lines. Yes. Yes. Border included in the work. Yep. So there's some real intention about the composition, triangular shape, shades of gray, sloping landscape, buildings, clouds, striated land, line textures, detail, texture, texture, texture. Not as linear. We're seeing some curves. Yes. We're seeing value. We're seeing texture. Very good use of lines and curves. Absolutely. Thank you all so much for that input. We're going to start with continuous line drawing, which if you haven't done that with us before, that's where you're going to keep your pen on or pencil, either one, whatever you're using, on the paper. And we use this for observation, intuition, simplification, to warm up and to focus. These are all repeats from something we've had, so I'm not going to go through each one of them. Sarah, anything you'd like to say about continuous line before we get in?
Um, Yeah, so just the reminder to kind of just pick a place to start. It doesn't matter where, whatever works for you, pick a place to start, and you're going to look at the photograph as you draw, but not the paper. Um, and think about your eye and your hand kind of moving together and moving at the same speed. And if you do feel the urge to peek at your drawing, I will recommend kind of pressing pause on your drawing as you take a peek.
Wonderful. So we're going to show you quickly. This is Sarah doing hers, and this I think is at speed. We didn't speed this. Oh, I sped this one up a little bit. So this one is. Oh no, this is her pretty. No, this is sped up. Which so this goes very slow. So we encourage you to go very slow with this to really focus on the shapes you're seeing.
Yep. So yeah, so I'm not lifting my pen at all. So I'm kind of going kind of back and forth over some lines and areas I've already drawn. And the idea behind this is that it encourages you to actually draw what you see, and not what your brain thinks something should look like. And so the outcome of these is often more abstracted, um, You can giggle a little bit at your own work. You'll find that it might not actually look a ton like the photo you're working from, but you end
Sure,
up
that
with
looks
these,
exactly like the photo we're
yeah,
working
you end up with
from.
these really interesting abstract creations. So, yeah.
What I loved is we had someone who told us we did this a couple sessions ago, and somebody said they started their day with doing a continuous line drawing. It's a great practice and a great kind of meditative practice in looking, which is really lovely and focused. So
Yeah.
something we encourage you to build into your day.
Somebody did ask if this is blind continuous line. So
Mm.
yes. So you will be looking only at the image, not at your paper as you draw.
Yes. So we're going to give you 2 minutes for this. This is your inspiration photo. And again, you're keeping your eye on the image, not on your paper. You're not picking up your pen or pencil. And go ahead and begin. About 30 seconds left. And finish wherever you are and come back to the space with us. Welcome back. Feel free in the Q&A to put how that was for you if you'd like to share. Sometimes it can be very abstract and wild, and that's okay. Let's see. We've got some folks sharing. Relaxing. Didn't see the little ant until I was drawing it. Oh, your pencil broke. Loved it. How do we share? You can share any of these after with us. We don't have a way to share them during this event, but there is a way after in feedback that you can give that. Once I let go, it was great. Always fun. Love hearing this. Our next practice is going to be speed shape. Oops, excuse me. We went one too far. It's going to be speed shape drawing. We've done this before. And Sarah, you want to give a little bit of an overview of what we've done here?
Yeah, so with the speed shape drawing, this will be really quick. Kat, remind me what you're going to set the timer for.
This timer is going to be for 1 minute.
Great. So the idea is to, as quickly as you can, to create a drawing. In this case, it'll be of our elephant friend here, and to break it
Kate.
down into Kate, and to break it down into kind of big, broad, simple shapes. So think about kind of what shape you can do to use to represent the body, what shape you can use to represent the head. So it's all about kind of simplifying the shapes, drawing very quickly, keeping it light and loose. And then if you get to a point where you feel like you've captured the elephant in simple shapes, you can go back in with your pencil and try to add some more detail or kind of define them a little bit more clearly.
Somebody asked, are we just focusing on the elephant?
Yeah.
That's your choice. We're asking you to focus on the elephant. You'll see Sarah's going to focus on the elephant in her drawing, but you can also choose if you have extra time, you can go for other things, but mostly we're saying focus on the elephant in this picture. And here's Sarah doing the shape drawing.
Go. So keeping it light and loose, choosing a large oval shape for the body. And this video is sped up. I'm not actually drawing that quickly. I did kind of a little bit of a gesture drawing for the trunk where I just drew one single line to represent the shape of the trunk. And breaking down the legs into kind of rectangle-ish shapes. The mouth there, adding that on, it's a little bit more of like a triangle shape and then going back and trying to add a little bit more definition, but that was all the time I had.
That looks like an elephant to me. If I looked at
It's
that,
a
I would
start.
know.
It's a start.
That's the
Yep.
start of an elephant. So, folks, this is a quick drawing, a minute, and you really just are looking to get the basic shapes of the elephant. And I'm just waiting for my computer to catch up. I apologize. It's being a little slow today. There we go. Wonderful. So, this is your elephant, and I'm going to give you 1 minute, and that's going to start now. And just about 10 seconds. And finish where you are, and then come back into the space with us. Any thoughts on how that was? I'll just give a moment for any reflections that people would like to share about Kate the elephant. And this is from Elliot Fernander's photography. Elliot is a circus photographer, and this was on a rare blue sky day outside where they did it. My elephant is on Ozempic. It is the Ozempic era. And yup, so you had a tiny elephant. Very fast minute. Yes. Yes. A minute feels so short sometimes. Yep. All right. Oh, I've got a couple more. Let's see. Great to start with a circle. Yeah, when you've got an animal like this that has kind of large body segments, having that as a base. Had trouble transitioning from
Yeah.
a continuous line drawing. Yeah, that makes sense. This is a very different thing because you're kind
Yep.
of segmenting here as opposed to trying the entirety there.
And also the
Mhm.
speed
The
too. Trying
speed.
to,
Yep.
yeah.
The fun sweeping shape of the trunk. Yes. Yeah, that trunk is such a unique body part that the elephant shares with us. All right. Let's get into it. So, Sarah, talk us through perspective. This is our new concept that we're bringing in today.
Yeah, so there's a lot to it. So I'll do the best I can to kind of just kind of hit on kind of the key points with perspective. So perspective is the technique that you use to make a 2D, so like a flat surface, look three-dimensional. So you're creating the illusion of depth. So there's a couple of different approaches to it. So one approach is this idea of linear perspective that uses vanishing points and converging lines. So in the drawing, just that really simple line drawing at the top, that was just a quick sketch I did to kind of show one example of 1 point linear perspective. So it's this idea almost like you have this point. I've kind of described it before as kind of like this black hole that's kind of sucking blocking everything in. So the idea is that things that you create kind of vanish into this one point. So as things get closer to that horizon line, they kind of get closer together and appear smaller, and then they get larger as they move down on the page. And then you can have multiple vanishing points. That's a whole other thing. Often in landscapes, you'll find this kind of one point perspective. And then the image on the bottom, which we did as part of our close looking, is a great example of atmospheric perspective, which is the idea that when you're looking out over a landscape, things that are farther away actually appear lighter. So they appear lighter, they might look hazier. Sometimes they appear to be a little bit more blue. In this case, it's just more of kind of that lighter, hazier look. And it also demonstrates linear perspective as well. You can kind of see how in that road, how the road sort of converges into this one point, how it's really, really narrow in the middle of the page, and that it gets wider as it moves towards you. And that's what creates the illusion of depth.
So what you're going to see is we're going to do a 5-minute drawing with this. We're going to show you Sarah's drawing, the way she did this. And again, this will be sped up, so just know. And Sarah will talk a little bit through her
Yep.
process.
So I did create just a smaller rectangle on my page to work with. I chose to start with kind of that bigger mountain that's kind of in the middle ground. That just felt like it made sense for me to start there. And so here I'm working on trying to kind of d draw a line that'll separate that foreground from the rest of the image. And then trying to add in the road. So kind of choosing a starting point. I think there I realized that the curve was a little too pronounced, so tried to kind of bring that curve in a little bit. And then working on just kind of blocking out, real basic larger shapes, trying to block out different areas of this space here. You'll notice that that road, that line there, I think indicates like a little kind of dip and then rise in the road. So I included that. And then these lines, the kind of the ruts in the road were pretty interesting because that does also, including those really helps create that illusion of depth and distance. They start out really close together and they kind of get wider apart as you get further down the page. And then so I'm just going back here and kind of, adding more definition to that mountain right there. You don't have to include any of the buildings. I did not. I decided to focus on the natural elements, but you're welcome to include them if that's interesting to you, because they do also show some perspective on there as well. And then adding a little bit of shading here. You'll notice that this one is darker at the top and then gets lighter as you get towards the bottom of the mountain, which was interesting. Adding some of our little trees. Let's see. And then that mountain back there, that does appear lighter. So that creates that illusion of depth through atmospheric perspective. Going in there, and that must have been my time.
So we're going to give you 5 minutes to do this, folks. And I will time you and I'll let you know at halfway and then at about 30 seconds till we're close to the end. And this is the piece you're going to be working on. During this time and anytime, please feel free to use the Q&A to talk to us. And your time starts now. Begin. We're just about halfway there. 30 seconds. And put your finishing touches. This won't be a final product, but put your last pen or pencil strokes on your page and come back into the space with us. How was that for people? What areas did you focus on? What did you notice about your drawings, about your practice? The sweeping lines in the road were fun. Yeah, there's so much texture in this piece. There's so much movement in it. The little houses to the center left as a good anchor point. Yeah,
Yeah,
use
that's
the
great.
side of the pencil more than the point. Not too shabby. Hard to get things in the right place. A lot of elements to work on. Great, many textures. Yeah, there was a lot to choose from about how you wanted to approach this piece. Thanks so much for sharing those thoughts. One more thought, and then we'll move to the next. Hard to focus on one area. Yeah, because so sometimes having that much is great because it helps you put things in place. And then sometimes it's hard because, right, where do I start? Where do I stop?
And it is good to bounce around because if you do focus too much on one area, then kind of sizing and location of other parts could be a little off.
Yeah, absolutely. Would be fun to, yes. So one of the things that we love is somebody said it would be fun to do a 15-minute drawing after a quick sketch. We also had helpful for perspective to do mountains and road. If you want to go back after these with the recordings and do these sketches for longer, that's always available to you. So please feel free to do that. On this next sketch, we're going to be going back. This is where we're going to do three slightly longer sketches. So anywhere in the 8 to 10 minute realm. This is landscape practice. So we've done landscape before. We just did one as well. This is another landscape. And this is Sarah's drawing. We're not going to show you a demo of it, but this is Sarah's drawing that she did in about 8 to 10 minutes, focusing on the bigger details, leaving out things she doesn't want to draw. There's both atmospheric and linear perspective, the road and the river, mountains appearing lighter as they get farther away from the viewer. Anything else, Sarah, you want to share about this before we go into it?
No, I think you covered it. Just yeah, I mean really just a reminder just to kind of stay light and loose and jumping around is a great way to go.
So we are going to do 8 minutes for this, and this will be your large piece to work from. And we're going to give you 8 minutes. And again, we will be off camera, but we are listening and we are looking at Q&A. So please feel free to ask us questions if you need. And I'm going to start that now. We're just about 3 minutes into this 8 minute drawing. Over halfway through. just under 2 minutes. 30 seconds left. And begin to wrap up and come back into the space. I'm really excited for the next one. I really love this piece, the next piece that's coming up. So we did landscapes, and now what we're going to do is we're going to place an animal in that landscape. So, this is an elk in landscape, on the edge of a mountain. And so Sarah's talked about keeping the background simple, lightly map it out. First, start with a shape and her gesture drawing for the elk. Sarah, talk to us a little bit about antlers. What's so hard about antlers?
Oh my goodness. Well, especially because there's two sets of antlers that are kind of overlapping a bit. So what I did to start was I just drew each set of antlers just in lines. So instead of trying to kind of capture kind of the thickness of them, I just kind of drew like a long line for kind of the main part of the antler and then smaller lines for the pieces that branch off, and then kind of added the kind of the width onto those. So I will say if you are finding the antlers if you are finding they're hard, you are not alone. And if they're really bugging you, then you can, take some extra time to kind of focus on the rest of the animal.
All right, so we're going to do 8 minutes again for this. And you can check in with us as much as you want. If you get stuck on something, feel free to ask us questions, and I'll give you a few updates on time. And then we'll have one more long drawing after this, and then we'll wrap up the series for the day and for the whole entire series. So let's go into your drawing. So this is Carl Runges, The Challenger. And this is oil on canvas. And so I'm going to start your time now. And please feel free to be in touch if you have any questions. 8 minutes, friends. 3 minutes into your 8 minutes. Just over halfway there.
Somebody asked if there is a tail. I think it's in there somewhere, but it is hard to see.
We're at 6 minutes. Couple minutes left. Thirty seconds left. And Wrap up your piece and come back into the space. How are your elks, everyone? How are the elks doing? Let's see. How are those elks? Arg! Adding color helps with some. Yeah. How to draw an elk. Hard to draw. Yes, the lines of the animal are easy. Got lost in the rocks and the foliage. Motion of the hell of the head was tough. Much harder than the deer. Happy with it. Thanks to this class. We're so glad. Elk's perspective of size off. Yeah. Revisit your elk. Couldn't figure out the face. Oh, yes, and I'll put what I'll do is just quickly I'll go back. This is Carl Rungius. So Rungius.
And yes, the face was hard. It took me a little bit to I kind of reworked mine a few times as well.
And we're running a little short on time, so we're going to do a little bit of a shorter one for this one, but we're going to do some flower drawing practice. And what Sarah's suggesting is we've got a picture of many, many flowers. We're going to say focus on one to start and break it down into simple shapes. Begin with a petal and go from there. Pay attention to the overlapping and negative space. Somebody had mentioned that before when we were looking at the Lucioni. Um, Small marks can capture texture of the stigmas. Those are the parts at the middle of the flower. And don't overthink it. Any last comments before we hop into this, Sarah?
Uh, no, I think you covered it, and we'll keep an eye on the Q&A if anyone has any questions as you go.
Great. So we're going to give you 5 minutes for this one. So begin now. And again, we're here. Let us know if you need anything. And then after this, we'll wrap it all up. About halfway through. Just about 1 minute left. 30 seconds. And begin to finish up this drawing and come back into the shared space with us. How were your flowers, everyone? What did you discover about textures? Where did you choose to start? And while you're thinking about that, Sarah, you want to share with us some of the key takeaways?
Yes, so just in brief, starting out when you're sitting down to do a little art making session, blind contour drawing and the speed sketching are a great way to warm up, and also just kind of consistently incorporating that into your drawing practice can really help to build skills. So perspective is the technique that creates the illusion of three-dimensional depth on a 2D space. And you can have linear perspective where kind of things disappear into a vanishing point, or atmospheric perspective where elements appear lighter as they get farther away, or blue or hazy. Whenever you're starting a drawing, always keep it really light, keep it really loose, kind of bounce around and work the whole drawing, and then focus on the smaller details. And then something that can also be really, really helpful if you do feel stuck is focusing on the negative space. So that empty space in between objects or parts of things or around space, and kind of shifting your focus to capturing that can be very helpful.
Wonderful. And we have some thoughts in the Q&A. And this can also be if folks have questions in general or reflections about today or the series in general, you can start putting those in there now. That's where we're at. So we have the design in the big round center is so mathematical. Yes, florals have so much math in them. We have, I did better when I just used colored pencil and not a regular first. You
Oh,
find the
great.
medium that
Yeah.
works well for you. Love the flowers. Hard to get into a new drawing still with the others. Yeah, we're going quickly today. We wanted you to do a lot. Although my drawings are far from perfect, I think I can see an improvement from the 4 sessions. I have a better understanding of what to do now. We're so glad to hear that. The strong foreground got me. Felt calmer to draw. Glad to find negative space. Somebody's asking if we'll go back. We'll go back at the end and show all of the pictures if folks would like to screenshot those so anybody else can leave and we'll go back. This taught me to loosen up. Thank you. Thank you. Any last questions before we go back and share the other pictures and close up? The landscape had so much detail. It was hard with the time given. Yeah, these are so much. We're just getting the starts. The other sessions, yes. So the series has been great. I have been drawing and painting all these weeks. Thank you so much. I got a lot out of it. Wonderful. Somebody is asking about the recordings. Yes, and the will be on our website. The first three are up there already. This one should be up by the end of the week or early next week. If you go to our website and go under Learn Webinars and scroll down, they are all there. Yes, wonderful. Thanks so much. Really got a lot of the series. Appreciate the recordings. Love the courses. They've been so much fun. Sarah, somebody's asking about pencils to use. Do you have any thoughts on that?
It is helpful to get a set of drawing pencils that have different hardnesses. So, for example, if you get pencils that include maybe like a 2H pencil, which would be really, really light, an HB pencil, which is kind of your kind of everyday pencil that you typically write with, then it goes up to 2B and 6B. So once you hit those Bs, then they get darker as the numbers get higher, the pencils get softer. So I definitely recommend getting a set of drawing pencils so you can experiment with capturing different values with the lighter pencils and the darker pencils, and a good eraser or two as well.
Mm. This is the first session you've been able to attend. I'm so excited to see the rest. Oh, I'm so glad. Everybody, thank you so much for these really kind thoughts. I just want to put up this last slide and a reminder that our members and our donors helped us do all of this and keep it for free so that everybody can access this. If you're ever interested in learning more about membership or donating, you can go to either of those websites, and we'd love to hear it. But we're so thrilled you all are here. And again, we want to remind you with the recordings, you can go back and you can do longer sessions with each of those. You can even build on the pieces that you did today. So you could take those first sketches that you did and you can add to them. We'd love to see that. Are we going to do more lessons? Our hope is that we will do more lessons next. We'll do another webinar series next winter, over the winter. But this summer, if you are local, we will have 4 adult art making series that will be after hours at the museum. 2 of them will be on nature drawing as well. So those will be in July and August. So look for those dates. They'll be released soon. And then the other 2 will be related to special exhibitions. And wonderful. Thank you so much. Second time doing the series. They get me through the winter months. Thank you. Thank you so much for wonderful instructions and paintings and inspiration and Sarah's demos. Drawing sessions from past years are available on the same webinar page. You'll just have to scroll down further. So that's all. Yes. I'm so glad everybody enjoyed this. Thank you so much. For those that need them, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the slideshow and show you the different inspiration pieces we used today. This will also be up as well by, again, the end of this week or early next week, but I just want to show you what we've got. So here is the Chevets. This is down Montgomery Way. Give a few moments if anybody wants to grab that. And then we have the peonies with the ant. And we have Kate the elephant. I like from here, it looks like cat, so I feel very connected to her. Oh, Rebecca, thank you. All 3 sessions have been over the moon. We do love art, and so I'm so glad that's coming across. I'm glad you have confidence, Teresa. This is beautiful. Okay, let me keep going. We've done the Chevets already. This is the Hyde, Mount Mansfield, Vermont. And then we have The Challenger, our elk friend here by Carl Rungius. And then our final piece is Coneflowers, which is a picture, a photograph that was taken by Catherine Novia. And this is from the gardens at the museum. And I'm just going to look at Q&A. Thank you so much, everyone. We're so grateful you're all here with us. Thank you again. Please look for events for this coming season to see when you can create with me and Sarah again. We'd love to have you. And also, there'll be a variety of other events where you can learn about artwork, learn about artist processes, creative expression. Folk art. So many things are coming up this season. We're really excited and we hope to see you at a wide variety of them. Please keep in touch. You'll hear from us with a follow-up email, which will have a survey, but we'll also have a link to the recording as well. Thank you so, so much for being with us. We are very deeply appreciative of all you've done and all the creating that we've done together. Thank you so much and have such a wonderful day. Thanks, everyone.